Dear friends, how nice would it be if you were surrounded with so much of money all around you? Wow! I want to let you know something. Most manufacturing organizations actually have money floating around their operations. The only thing is, it is hidden in the form of operational costs. If only we knew strategies of tapping into this, it will all become financial savings working towards our profitability. Today, I'm going to talk about this. Dear friends, today I'm going to illustrate to you 7 ways to waste money in your operations. Now, let's see. Let's say you have your workstations or maybe even your factories very far apart. So you need to move parts from station 1 to station 2, station 2 to station 3, station 3 to station 4, which is very far apart. This costs money, and this is what we call as transportation waste. Secondly, in many factories, what we see is they have a lot of inventory. Now let's say this operation can produce 20 parts an hour, and this operation can produce 15 parts an hour, and this operation can produce 20 parts an hour. But the inventory over here could be 120. The inventory over here could be 160, and the inventory over here could be 80. Now you can only produce 20, 15 or another 20 at these stations because you are having a lot of inventory. This is what we call as in excess inventory waste. Now thirdly, there are always a situation where you have to move between stations or tables. An operator may have to move between here, come back here, move here, come back here, move here and come back here to get the job done. Now this costs money and this costs time. This is what we call as motion waste. Next is, you may have a situation where this whole machine is down. When this machine is down, this entire 160 pieces of parts which are waiting to be processed in this machine is simply waiting and doing nothing, waiting to be processed. We call this as the waste of waiting. We also have a situation. This may be a valid process. This may be a valid process. Now this may be an unnecessary process which we have added into your operations. So we are having extra processes. We call this as over processing. Now friends, because we are having too much of inventory over here, because we are having too much of inventory over here, because we are having too much of inventory over here, what happens is all this thing eventually goes here and sits here as inventory in your finished good warehouse. Let's assume you're having about 10,000 pieces here in your finished good warehouse and your customer needs only 1,000 pieces a day. Now your demand is only 1,000 units a day, but you are having 10,000 pieces. This is what we call as overproduction. Now, the last waste is what we call as defects. You produce 10,000 pieces, but before coming to 10,000 pieces, you may have found out that this operation actually produced 10,800 pieces. But what happened to the other 800 pieces? The 800 pieces actually were defects which had to be thrown away, wasted money. This is what we call as defects or even reworks. So friends, this thing which we call as TIMWOOD is an acronym to the 7 types of waste which actually allows you to waste money in your operations. Transportation, inventory in excess, motion, waiting, overprocessing, overproduction and defects. Now what are you going to do about this? I suggest you do this. You go to your factory, you stand right in the middle, you position yourself right in the center and then start looking all around you. Okay, spend about half an hour there if it is a small factory. If it is an entire supply chain, you got to draw it out and look at it. Are you able to identify any one of these 7 ways? This is what we call as the 360 degrees waste elimination or waste identification method. Friends, you'll be surprised. When you do this exercise, you may find out that you have tons of waste to actually go and work on. Out of the several hundred factories I've been doing operational improvement consulting, I found out that nearly all of them have the typical kind of waste as I have demonstrated a short while ago. But the good news is, all of them had been able to reduce this waste and save money. The amount of money they had been able to save ranges anywhere from thousands of dollars right up to millions of dollars depending on the size of the organization. How were they able to do it? Now, there are 5 methods I'm going to tell you today. First is lean inventory control. Lean inventory control can be done in the shop floor and even in the entire supply chain. Second is improving machine performances so that you do not have the waste of waiting. Third is optimizing process controls. This will lead to quality improvements. Fourth is optimizing layouts or even locations. We can bring machines nearer together, processes nearer together, or maybe even factories strategically nearer together in an entire supply chain. And the last thing is process innovation, which could also be coupled with automation. When we do breakthrough improvements in our processes, we are able to produce parts with less over-processing, less overproduction, and with a much lower operational cost. Friends, let's go and identify the waste in our operations. Let's take these strategies and actions to go and tap on this money which is lying around in your operations. Probably you'll be able to improve your profitability. Thank you very much for listening to this video, and I will be back with more tips on operational cost reduction.